Welcome, new transfers, to our Fall 2023 Pre-Advising video. My name is Melissa Miller. I'm one of the undergraduate academic advisors at CSUB Antelope Valley.
And I'm Leah Antone. I am the undergraduate advisor and tutoring coordinator for CSUB AV.
We hope to see you this fall 2023 on campus. This year, we're going to have advising in person and over Zoom. In today's pre-advising video, we're going to go over some general information. We're going to talk about your MyCSUB student portal. We're going to talk about that student center. We're going to talk about registration holds. We're going to talk about your to-do list. We're going to talk about registration appointments. We're going to teach you how to search for classes. We're going to show you how to search for classes on the Antelope Valley campus. And we're going to teach you how to search for your general education classes. Also, when you have your one-on-one appointment with us, we're going to go over your specific requirements, your classes, and your planned courses.
And for our AV campus, we actually have different types of academic advisors available to our students. We have the staff advisors or professional advisors like myself and Melissa. So your incoming transfer advising will be done with either of us. We see all of the majors, including criminal justice, sociology, child, adolescent, and family studies, liberal studies, business, interdisciplinary studies, national science, foundational, and religious studies. However, in addition to ourselves being able to assist you, some of their majors have faculty advisors like our child, adolescent, and family studies, criminal justice, religious studies, and sociology. You will be able to see your faculty advisor after your initial advising with myself or Melissa. During your first time advising, we go over a lot of information regarding what transferred over, what credits you receive, what you have left, and then you make a very smooth transition into your faculty advising on a turn-by-turn basis. You will not lose access to myself or Melissa, but we do recommend that you seek your faculty advisor on your term-by-term planning to go over your major requirements. These are your faculty advisors. For those of you in the CAFS major, you have Dr. Reed. For those of you in criminal justice, you have Dr. Taylor. Religious studies has Dr. Lamas, and sociology has two faculty advisors, Dr. Bungerhoben, as well as Professor Sanchez. For those of you in sociology, the department will assign you to one faculty advisor. However, you will continue to have access to either advisor as well as the staff advisors. We also have available as a resource or tool for you our virtual advising office. The virtual advising office is there 24/7. So whenever you have a question that can be obtained online, you're going to be able to find it here. Let me just point out some quick things in here. For example, there is a link to schedule an advising appointment. There is the link to the calendar of events. We have our tutorial channel over here for YouTube. We do have a link for our IT specialist, Michael Brown, in case you have technological needs. His hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. over summer. And then we also have links to the tutoring center, information about commencement and the ceremony. We do have our Zoom walk-ins, which Melissa will cover shortly, but the link for Zoom walk-ins, the days and times, are usually posted in this little whiteboard over here. And then any upcoming dates that are of importance, we tend to put them over there. If you see a purse or a wallet, that will take you to the information on tuition fees, and usually a stack of books, it takes you to the university's catalog. As well as the advising services, we also have tutoring services for our students. Most of our tutoring services are done by the Bakersfield campus, but are available to AV students over Zoom. You will notice each of the tutoring centers have the information posted as to how to join them, what their days and times and hours are. We do happen to have some in-person tutoring on a term-by-term basis, depending on who we have at the time. Currently, we have our BA 3010 tutoring, which is our business statistics class available in person at the AV campus. The rest of our tutoring is done over Zoom with the Bakersfield campus. In addition to the Bakersfield campus tutoring, we also have a free online tutoring account through nettutor.com. In order to receive this free services, you must go online and register through this particular link, which is nettutor.com/CSUBNT. Once you register for it, you'll have access to professional tutors that have at least a bachelor's degree, but most of them have a master's or a PhD degree. They can assist with live video, audio, or just chat, as well as you can drop off questions or you can drop off papers for review. I do recommend registering for an account using your CSUB email as soon as possible. That way you're not worried about setting up an account when you are in need of tutoring.
We're going to talk about some registration announcements. For fall 2023, registration for our new transfer students begins June 5th. More classes will be offered in person for fall 2023. The types of modes of instructions that we have are face-to-face, ITV, virtual, which is online over Zoom, and hybrid. As a general rule, tuition is always due the Thursday before school starts, and that's for every semester. When we do Zoom walk-ins, this is generally for quick questions. This is not academic advising. You usually come in, it's about a 5 to 10 minute session. Ask any questions that you have. We cannot go over any advising paperwork or do change of majors or minors. This summer, we will have walk-ins Monday through Thursday. We'll do mornings and afternoons. And usually the first week of school, Leigh and I will do walk-ins to help any students with registration issues. And if you ever have registration problems, we do have an override request form that we have students fill out, and you can find this form in our Bitmoji office. And if you have any issues with registering for a class, you would fill this form out. We'll review it to make sure you meet the requirements for that course. And if you do not, we will email you with the explanation of why we cannot enroll you into that course. The degree audit is your academic requirements, and this is essentially your academic outline. During your one-on-one appointment, we will go over this, and this goes over all of your class requirements that you need to complete your bachelor's degree with us. When you log into your student center, you will click 3 hamburger lines on the right-hand side or underneath the academic bar, and you'll select academic requirements.
So a little bit of your degree audit or your academic outline. This is basically what at your community college you call an ed plan, which kept track of what requirements you had met and what requirements you had done. Similarly, you will be able to find this on your MyCSUB account, and it has a very specific system to tell you which ones are done and which ones are not. For example, a requirement that has been completed will have either a check mark or is going to have a purple exclamation triangle in there. The exclamation triangle simply means that the requirement was done through certification. So you'll see most of this throughout your lower division GE requirements. And the check mark simply means it was met directly with a specific course, like a one-to-one articulation kind of thing. Either way, it means it's done, it's met. You can move on and leave that requirement alone. Another symbol you will see in your degree audit is going to be this little, it looks like a little green clock thing. This simply tells you that the course is in progress. And you can see there in the when column, it tells you what semester it's in progress. And then the grade part is blank because you haven't received a final grade for it. This is something that you want to double check after you register for classes for fall. You can see in your degree audit immediately where these classes are going and which requirements they are meeting by just double checking your degree audit. And then the last section of requirements that you're going to see are going to be the ones that are still needed. For these, there is a red X on a circle. And what we try to do to make sure that it's a little bit more obvious when we send you the PDF paperwork, we tend to highlight how many do you need from that section. So some of the things you'll see under each requirement, it'll say either complete one of the courses in the course list, or it'll say complete all of the requirements in the course list. If it says one and it gives you 30 plus options, that means any of those courses listed will fulfill that one requirement that you need. If it says complete all of the courses in this list, it means you don't have a choice. You don't pick within those requirements. You have to take them all. They're all required towards your degree. Okay. We also help you keep track of your units in your advising paperwork. So you're going to see this little grid usually towards the bottom of your paperwork. And this is just how we help you keep track of whether you need what we call university electives or not. So your bachelor's degree requires 120 units minimum to finish your degree. Now, however, some of you have already done over 100 students at your community college. The maximum you can use from your community college towards these 120 is 70. So you're going to notice in this little grid that we send you that we will put there what the max is from your community college. So if you took more than 70, 70 is the cap. If you took less than 70, then we'll put in there exactly how many you came over with. There's other units you can transfer in with in addition to your community college units. For example, if you took AP or CLEP exams, or if you attended another university, you can have a second line in there in which it tells you what additional units on top of your community colleges are we using towards your degree. Now, if you have the 70 and you have another 70 from another university, we need to cap all of these to 90 in order to meet the 30 residency units. Residency units are just units that you do here at CSUB AV. And basically, if you don't do at least 30 units here, you cannot graduate from CSUB. So we'll just try to make sure, again, keep track of you meeting all the minimums that you need. Once we calculate all the minimums that you need and we check how many do you have in progress for whatever that current term is, then we add up what you have left, which is going to be in that required coursework highlight over here. And if your required coursework is less than your minimum units needed after the current term, then you have what we call university electives. Okay, and university electives are simply units that you need to meet the minimum to graduate. So some of you might have university electives, some of you may not. If this is all confusing to you, just stick to the highlights. We try to highlight what's important. So if nothing else, just look at the highlights in the required coursework and the electives needed. If the electives needed is 0, that means as long as you take all the classes that you have left towards your degree, you'll be fine and you don't need to worry about units. In addition to the 120 units for the degree, you also need to meet what we call upper division units. Upper division units are 3,000, 4,000 level courses that can only be taken at a four-year institution. So if you took classes at your community college, those cannot count towards your upper division units. So we'll help you keep track of those. If you did take some upper division at another university, you will have to do at least 24 at CSUB as part of the 30 residency units that you have done. And once again, residency units simply means units at CSUB. Okay, we will help you keep track of those as you take courses at CSUB as well. And then we'll take a look and track to make sure that you have the minimum GPA needed for your major, your overall, your minor, if you have one, and then your CSUB courses as well. So there's 4 different GPAs. The CSUB GPA only includes CSUB courses. So if this is your first semester at CSUB, you're not going to have a CSUB GPA. Your major GPA will only include courses in your major. Your minor GPA only applies if you have a minor. If you have a minor, you will need to have a GPA of 2.0 in all of your classes. And then your overall GPA includes your CSUB coursework as well as your transfer coursework. And then that also has to be above a 2.0.
Okay, we're going to talk about the CSU grading system here at CSUB. We do use a plus and minus grading system here. So that means you can get an A plus, or an A minus in your courses. When you look at the university catalog, some courses do require you to pass with a specific grade. So you can check if you're not passing a class. You can pull up the university catalog to check to make sure if a grade is required for that course. Some classes, they consider D-passing. So just remember, as Leah explained, you need to keep your GPA in all areas above a 2.0. And as a new transfer student, you do not have a CSUB GPA with us. So it's very critical that you do well in your first semester because, for example, if you get a C, and a C, but a C minus, this can put you on academic probation because you don't have a GPA established with us. So make sure that when you enroll in classes that you are doing a course load that you are used to. Okay. Also, we do offer credit and no credit classes. This does not affect your GPA at all. Some classes that are included in this are usually internships. When you look at your transcripts, you'll notice a CR and an NC, which stands for credit or no credit. Final transcripts that are required from you. The deadline is July 1st. So if you are currently enrolled in your spring 23 classes, or if you are taking summer 23 classes, we will need you to submit transcripts by July 1st. And then if you are enrolled in summer, make sure to submit another set of transcripts with the final grades on them. And then once you submit those transcripts, the university will evaluate them. It does take about 4 to 6 weeks for evaluations to post on your records here with us. If you have a registration hold, it is most likely due to missing transcripts. Registration for spring 2024 begins October 23rd. Also, when you do request your official transcripts, make sure that you are requesting a full CSUGE certification. When you are requesting these transcripts, there is a box on there that you can check to get your full CSUGE certification. And if you are transferring as an AAT, an AST, or an ADT, you must, which is your associate degree for transfer, it must be awarded for spring 2023 or earlier. Okay, this is extremely important. As a fall 2023 admit, you must be enrolled for fall 2023 to remain eligible for future terms. If you do not enroll in any classes, admissions will not be allowed to reapply to CSUB for future terms, which means that you can't start with us and stop and then try to register for the next term. What you'll have to do is if you decide not to come for fall 2023, you will have to reapply for spring 2024 with us. If you do start with us and you decide to take a break for spring 2024, you can only stop attending for 2 consecutive terms. If you go beyond that, you will have to reapply as well. And then also, if you do stop attending with us for more than 2 consecutive terms, you will lose your catalog rights. So make sure that if you do decide to come with us, to stick with it and get through your 2 years with us.
If you don't enroll or you enroll in classes, but you drop them before the beginning of the fall 2023 term, the application period for the spring term is August 1st through August 31st. So if you miss that deadline to apply for the spring term, you are then having to apply to the following fall term, which means if you decide late that you're not attending this fall, you will have to wait until the following fall. You can't just say, well, I was admitted for fall. Can't you just take me in for spring? Usually, if you miss the deadline, you have to wait until the next application period in order to come on.
So when it comes to tuition and fees for undergraduates, we go by units here. So if you decide to enroll in anything between 0 and 6.0 units, your tuition will end up being $2,644. If you decide to take 6.1 units and above, your tuition ends up being $3,850 with us. That's why if you do decide to be full-time, we always encourage you to take anywhere from 6.1 and above because the price doesn't change when it comes to units with us. Financial aid, if you haven't applied for your FAFSA each year, The hard deadline is October 1st to March 2nd, and we do provide you with our school code.
Okay. And then one thing I wanted to mention here is for the 6.1 units and above, first off, we don't have 0.1 units. So it's going to be basically 7 units and above. The max you can take per semester without approvals is 19 units. There are some of you who would like to go over 19 units, which you can submit an application for over units, but not for your first semester. Your very first semester at CSUB is capped at 19, no exceptions. Moving forward, if you do really well on your first 19 units for the semester and the following semester you want to take 20 or 21 units, you are able to do that because, again, the tuition fee remains the same. However, keep in mind that you still have to pass these classes. So don't take too much just because it's already covered. Make sure that it is still something that you can handle. And then a couple of information on our website and how to navigate our website. For our students, there is a current students tab, which there has a lot of shortcuts to the items that you need. Links or shortcuts to the Antelope Valley campus's website is all the way at the bottom. I'll show you in a moment. And then you can find the faculty and staff directory through the faculty and staff tab. So here is the current students tab. You can see there that you can reach your student portal. You can get a link to Canvas from there and even the university campus catalog. But for me, I prefer to check the 3 hamburger lines on the very top right-hand corner. This to me is a little easier to navigate. When you click on that, it gives you this menu, and this gives you access to your CSUB email, your student portal, admissions and records, financial aid, your tuition fees. The student portal is the one we're going to review right now, but I do encourage you to go through and explore these sites so that you're familiar with the different resources you have online. When you click on the student portal, you will be required to log in. Your logging net ID is usually your first initial plus your last name and sometimes a number depending on how many other students on campus have your first initial and last name. And then if you haven't set up your password yet, click on the Need Help link at the very top, and it'll help you either set up your password if you haven't already set it up, or recover and change it if you forgot what your password was. We also have a 2-step verification system at CSUB, which means every time you try to log in to your My CSUB account, you will need to have either the app installed on your phone for a push notification to allow you to confirm it is you trying to log in, or you will have to have a phone number associated that they can call and you can acknowledge that this is you trying to log into your account. There is a few how-to screenshots in the My CSUB guides that you can look through in case you need more information on setting up your account or recovering or changing your password. For right now, we're just going to go ahead and look at what this looks like when you log in.
Okay, and when you log into your student center, this is what it's going to look like. On the right-hand side, if the university puts a hold on your account, this is where it will be located. Holds, the type of different holds that you can have with us is student financial services hold, a student financial agreement hold, advising hold, probation hold, judicial affairs hold, which is also called equity, inclusion, and compliance training, and health services hold. On the underneath the holds, you can find your to-do list. So if the university requires any type of documentation from you, they will put it on the to-do list. Examples of items that can be on the to-do list are your household size, your IRS tax transcripts, or final transcripts, or an ADT confirmation. And to go over the holds with you, student financial services, they usually put this on as a hold if you owe the university any money. The student financial agreement is usually an agreement signed between you and the university stating that you are responsible for your tuition fees. Advising hold, as a new transfer, you will have this on your account, and once you meet with Leigh and I, we will remove this hold. And also, this is the only hold that Leigh and I can remove. Probation hold, if you do get put on academic probation, the university requires you to meet with an academic probation advisor. Judicial Affairs hold, that is your Title IX training. So each semester they do put this on, and they go over different topics just to make sure you are aware of different types of things like sexual assault or what to do in certain uncomfortable scenarios. And health services hold, that is when the university is requesting to make sure that you have certain shots. So when you click on details for the holds, it'll tell you how to clear them and who you can contact if you have questions about the holds.
And then one of the things about the financial agreement hold, they do place that every academic year. Its main purpose is one, to again, make you acknowledge you understand tuition fees. The quick version of understanding tuition fees is regardless of when you register for tuition for your classes, tuition fees are always due Thursday before school starts. So there is no reason to postpone registration for your classes thinking it'll give you more time to pay. In a lot of community colleges, you have to pay the same day you register. That is not the case with CSUB. You can register as early as you're allowed to, and your tuition fees will continue to be Thursday before the semester starts. Also, one of the purposes of the financial agreement hold is to force students to update their addresses and their phone numbers, because we noticed students weren't updating this information, so we always had outdated information. So every academic year, besides acknowledging your tuition fees, you will have to update or confirm that the address is still the same and that your phone number is still the same. Follow the instructions. This is going to be listed as both a hold and a to-do item. To complete the agreement, you have to go through the blue highlight link on the to-do item and then follow the instructions, keep going next, until there's a finish button, and that hold will go away immediately. A lot of the other holds take longer to be cleared, but this one, you can take care of it before your advising appointment. And then for your advising hold, we usually clear that as we send your advising paperwork, when you already have an appointment scheduled and you are basically ready to get going with your registration.
Okay, so also in the Student Center, you also have your enrollment appointment. So when it comes to registration, if you click details, it will tell you the day and time that you can register for classes each semester. Okay, so when looking at the Student Center on how to search for classes, there is two ways to search for classes. You can either click the Enroll button or you can click the Search for Classes button. You do have the option to either search for summer classes or fall classes, but as a new transfer student, you will not be able to start for summer. You'll only be able to register for fall classes. But in future terms, if you do decide to do summer, you will have this option to decide which term you want to search for classes for. For classes, you must select the correct term. If you ever wanted to search for classes in previous terms, you do have the option of doing that. And if you notice that when you are adding a class and you notice that it's not in your shopping cart, or if you can't find the class, double check and make sure you are searching the correct term. Sometimes students get confused when they look at their outline and they need to take a specific course, but when they go to search for it, they can't find it. Just make sure you are setting the correct term when searching for classes. Registration fees, they are not due right away once you enroll into classes, as Leah mentioned earlier. As a general rule, tuition is due to Thursday before classes. So once you enroll in classes, it will take a couple days for the tuition fees to pop up on your account. Okay, and then again, just to remind you, enrollment and payment can be found on the right-hand side of the day and time that you can register for classes. And this will be put on your student portal every semester when you get close to registration. Okay, and how to search for classes. So as explained earlier, you want to make sure that you are selecting the correct term. You want to make sure that you're putting in the subject. And you want to make sure you are searching for open classes only. It is checked by default. And you want to go ahead and make sure you are leaving as is unless you are graduating. So make sure that you are keeping that box checked. And to search for Antelope Valley location, you want to click on additional search criteria. It will open up to more options, and you will go down to location and select Antelope Valley. Okay, so in the additional search criteria, as mentioned before, that's very important to put Antelope Valley. I know on there is two options. One says CSUB Antelope Valley, and then there's the one that says just Antelope Valley. Make sure you are using the fourth option from the top, which is Antelope Valley, and it will show you all the classes offered here on our campus. It's very important to do this because if you don't, and you try to register for main campus classes, you will run into errors and you won't be able to register for classes. And then once you are done putting all the search criteria, you'll click search and your results will come up.
Okay. And then how to search for upper division Gs is very similar to how to search for classes overall. The main difference is that when it comes to the subject, you're going to leave the subject part blank because we're not looking for a specific subject, which is one courses that meet a specific criteria. So we're going to look once again at that additional criteria filters at the bottom of your class search. We still want to use the Antelope Valley location. Once again, it's not the campus, it's the location. And what we're going to use is we're going to use the bottom two filters, which is the course attribute and the course attribute value. Under course attribute, your options will be to select the graduation writing assessment, which is your GWAR requirement, the junior year diversity requirement, and you can search for your upper division B, C, or D requirements. To look for the upper division B, C, or D requirements, you first have to select upper division general location from the course attribute value to see that option at the bottom pop up. When you're searching for the graduation writing assessment or the junior year diversity, you don't have a second box to look at the bottom. It's just going to be under course attribute. We will walk you through this if you're having a little bit of a hard time finding this, but I wanted to give you a little cheat sheet on how to do this if you want to get started before your appointment. Okay. And reinforcing, not the campus filter, the location filter. Okay. There are questions that come up a lot about main campus classes. We get students asking, well, it's an online class. Why does it matter that is main campus or AV? So main campus classes are reserved for main campus students, and AV classes are reserved for AV students. We still offer the different formats. We have online, we have in person, we have hybrid, we have Zoom. But these are classes that have been reserved and restricted to the AV campus, as well as the main campus are reserved and restricted to main campus students. So when you're doing your class searches, that's why it's so important to do the location as Antelope Valley, so that you don't keep getting the same enrollment error, which is that the enrollment requirement is to be a main campus student. So if a class is restricted to the main campus, our students do not have access to those classes unless the class is not offered at the Antelope Valley campus, and there's a big and here, it's going to affect your graduation if you don't take it that particular term. If you meet both of that criteria, then you can submit an override request and we can manually put you in a main campus classes if it's needed. Okay. There are a few main campus classes. You're going to see that the location is main campus, but these classes are listed as an enrollment prerequisite with main or AVC. AVC here doesn't mean Antelope Valley College, it means Antelope Valley campus. These courses are open to both main campus or AV students. So these don't require an override. The system will allow you to enroll directly into these classes. You will search for them without the Antelope Valley location, but I got to tell you, these are rare. They are more the exception than the rule. Most of your courses have been separated between main campus classes and AV classes. If you're at any point confused as to a particular class, you can talk to us during your advising appointment and we'll help you figure it out. We also have a YouTube tutorial channel. You can look for it through CSUB AV Advising. That is the title of our channel. We don't post videos ongoing. We usually do the pre-advising videos at the beginning of every registration period time. We do have some useful tutorials in there, for example, how to search for classes. how to validate classes. Validation is something that we do when you're adding classes to your shopping cart before your registration appointment. So if you're looking for classes and you're wondering, is the system going to let me into this? You can validate those prior to June 5th, and it will let you know, yes, this class is going to go through, or no, this class is not going to go through. And if you've watched the searching for classes video, you can just fast forward this one to 6 minutes and 30 seconds, and it'll just show you the validation part. We do recommend subscribing to the channel, not because we get hits or likes. It's an educational video. We don't profit from it, but because anytime the system is changed or the process is changed for a particular task or to-do list or item that you need to do, we try to post a how-to video so that you have access to it any time of the day and you're able to get that information straight through. One of the videos that we have here is how to request your PDF transcripts from your community college. So if you have forgotten how to do that, or last time that you did it, a counselor did it for you, just watch the tutorial on how to request your PDF transcripts to be sent to CSUB, and it'll show you there which boxes you need to mark moving forward. So very useful. I highly recommend it.
Prior to your advising appointment, you want to make sure that you have all of your holds cleared other than your academic advising hold. Review your advising paperwork, and we will go over course requirements and unit tallies with you. Watch our tutorial videos on our YouTube channel. If you get stuck on something or you want to review something more, make sure to go to our YouTube channel to review that information. Once you receive your academic requirements paperwork, you can start adding classes to your shopping cart. If your appointment is after June 5th, you can go ahead and enroll in the classes. And when we meet with you one-on-one, we can double check to make sure those classes are correct. And if you have any questions, make sure to write them down and don't forget to bring them to your advising appointment. Okay, lastly, don't forget to set an appointment reminder on your phone or on your email, because if you do miss your academic advising appointment, it can take several weeks to get another one. And that does conclude our free advising video. Take care. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.